Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. It's the Hood Mystic, representing hoodmystic.com. Here with another video. This video is about last night in my dream space, what occurred. In doing this work, putting out, or really like living through and experiencing the book Spiritual Being Having a Human Experience, I opened up some pathways within my mind and in my ability to perceive certain dimensions and paradigms, and instead of just living in the glory of, spiritual understanding, I shared the knowledge or gnosis in the literature, The Spiritual Being Having a Human Experience, available at columbianexchange.com as well as Amazon. My name is Kyrie Anthony. Just Google that name and all my literature will pop up. I'm also running a book bundle special, $88.88 for all of my literature. Yeah, that's just what it is. But anyways, little preface and background to how I was able to have this conversation. And, God or the creator or the intelligent design is a consciousness. And the associations with this consciousness is like health, prosperity, well-being, psychological homeostasis and balance, meaning that when you align with the God force energy, when you develop a spiritual disposition about yourself, things tend to work out in your favor. And the inversion of that is when you depressed or you misaligned and you can't get it right. You are not spiritually aligned. And the understanding, sometimes people can get so overwhelmed with their life and their responsibilities. The reality of a spiritual life is just doing the next best thing. Doing one thing at a time, staying present, staying in alignment, staying in understanding and cognition of who we are as spiritual beings. So the image that God showed me, because God is a mind, God is a consciousness, and the deeper understanding of God's consciousness is that we share in that same consciousness. It was a cup filled with water. It was a big cup, and then it was a whole bunch of little cups, like a whole bunch of little cups. And that's when God spoke to me and said, these little cups is all of the human beings you're going to come into contact with, whether they know it or not. Within every human being is the same consciousness as the greater intelligent design. The only thing that is going to differentiate between your greatest life and your worst life is realizing that the components of your vessel houses the same God force energy as the greater creator of the universe. Like within you is the same thing as God. And I don't know. I know I'm not saying nothing that you haven't heard before, but I guess for me, it just was so visceral and so real and so emotional. And like when I woke up, I'm just like, damn, that's crazy. Because like usually I didn't expect something to be so simple to be laid out before me, and as just a deeper understanding that, okay, It's very important that human beings understand that they need to relax. Understand that they need to let their mind go and tap into their subconscious mind. Because at the subconscious mind level, you have the subconscious mind. He began to speak to me about the subconscious mind. Stuff that I know, but I just never thought about before. He was like, think of sub-zero. That means below zero. Think about a submarine. This is just what God is telling me. I was like, okay, a submarine. This means below water. And I'm like, wow, that's true. It's like subconscious mind means below your conscious. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he's like, yeah, you worried about moving, you worried about furniture, you worried about appliances, you worried about this shit, you worried about moving, and you know, if you gotta live on air mattresses, you know, if you gotta just take the table that you got. Like, don't worry about nothing, because the subconscious, and this is what he's telling me, I'm just sharing, because that's what I was worried about consciously. And he's like telling me like, yo, the subconscious is below the conscious. So you can't really reflect on the conscious. You have to really reflect on who you are as a God. And you can't really fixate and perpendiculate on the things that are happening at a conscious level. Because that's not where God resides. That's where your humanity resides. And so, I don't know what a person might be going through in life, or what thoughts they're holding, and what emotions they are feeling. But try your best not to validate those things. Try your best not to validate the ability to create miracles, to understand transformations, to understand major changes without taking it personally, without feeling depressed, without, like, you know, it's like a 90-degree turn. And when you reach the edge of a 90-degree turn, the anxiety of the 90-degree turn is like, damn, it's the end, right? But then you take a right, and now you beginning a whole new journey. That's what this is. And I can't say what you need to do or what you don't need to do, because everybody has different things that they need to do. However, a general overall message is, don't forget who you are as a conscious being. Some things that I was being alerted to is like, you know, he was telling me, like, when you talking to people, right? If you're talking to people, that means that they're alive. That means that I've helped them, and they can bear witness to me helping them, because there was times, because they were being ignorant and stupid, that they got into fucked up situations, fucked up occurrences, but then miraculously they made it out of those situations, and that was me. So you can't ever say that you was just perfect and you made every decision right, because everybody know, you know, people who just got into the car at the wrong time and got into an accident and you never seen them again. So it's very important that you do not forget God's grace in your life. It's very important that you do not forget God's grace in your life. And yeah, don't forget God's grace, because it's so real and it's so visceral that, you know, we could get so caught up in what we're doing, you know, we can get so caught up in what we're experiencing. But it's like, some people, you know, they didn't wake up today. Some people, you know, ain't never gonna see their mom. Some people ain't gonna ever see their father, you know. And You got to really think about that. You got to really think about the world that we live in. And you got to really think about who you love and why you love them. And don't hold back on that. Don't. Because one of the aspects of, because if you understand God's grace and you understand that you're a microcosm of God, part of your life is giving love, helping people that can't even conceive of how you help them. You know, God's grace been on, if we're alive today, God's grace been on us in many ways. Sometimes you say, well, I was being lazy today, but that lazy that you took allowed you to make it to point A to point B safely. You know, you never know. You gotta always reference how your life is being saved in this world, and that there is an intelligent design to this planet. And you are a part of that. It's a reason why you made it safely to where you was going today. Because the reason why you made it to where you was going, because you are a part of the design. You are a part of the plan. And you could be like, you know, feeling down about it, you know, feeling like it's a responsibility, feeling like, you know, the world is against you. No, that's not it. We all have a part to play. You know, we all have a responsibility to uplift the next person. It was times where I was just so lost, and really, really lost. And if it wasn't for other people, I would have continued to be lost. You know, people, you know, I don't know what it's like now, but I remember where the spiritual community was pure. And the readings that you got was pure, and they saved your life. They told you something about yourself that you didn't even know about yourself. You thought that it was over for you. You thought that, you know, life had forgotten about you. But, you know, this spiritual shit is real. And I don't know if you're going to find it outside of yourself any longer. I don't know if you can buy it. I don't know if you could check up on people. I think that at this point, it's very important to recognize that the spiritual life within yourself has to be activated. You have to not feel bad. You have to not feel less than. You have to put your best energy forward in the realms of mental and emotional health. You can't feel sorry for yourself. You can't be so inundated with what you're doing that you don't give your time to reflect on who you are as a spiritual being. That's a very important message. And I know you know that can go in one ear and out the other. But it's very important that you see God within yourself, because that's who you are. And you should, and God will not overwhelm you. It's very important to understand God never put you in a situation that you couldn't overcome. If you listening to this video, that is a fact. That is an undeniable fact. You are never in an unbearable situation. And you never will be. You can do one thing at a time, in succession, complete your goals. When you rest unto your subconscious mind. You give everything to your subconscious mind, below the conscious mind. There's nothing that you should be thinking about in the nighttime. The more that you reduce your conscious thoughts, the easier it's going to be for your subconscious mind to heal you. Everything is referenced on consciousness. There's a reason why a bird knows where to get food from, where squirrels know where to get nuts from, and they never took a class. They never got a spiritual development course. They just magically knew a plant knew how to grow and seed itself. That is consciousness. You know exactly what it is you need to do, and you will do it because you have God's grace along the path. Don't be afraid that you're not going to get your ends to meet when you got all of this grace. So you're not even going to take the first step because you're afraid of what could happen. That's not how grace works. That's not how faith works. That's not how design works. When a person has an empty canvas and he says, well, I don't know if I start drawing, it's gonna be ugly and people not gonna like it, so I'm not gonna draw. That person does not become a part of the design. That person does not become within the flow of the universe. You just have to be creative and put yourself out there one step at a time. Don't be afraid to get better. Don't be afraid to do everything you can throughout the day and just give it up to the subconscious mind. Start over. Recognize who you are. Recognize God's grace that has been with you this entire time. So if you're alive, even if you have in a wheelchair, you still experiencing God's grace because you still have breath and you still have consciousness. When you have breath and you have consciousness, you are a part of God's creation. You are a part of the intelligent design. The problem with these cups, this is another thing that he showed me. Instead of recognizing what they are, the cups, they put different things over them. They covered them up. So the cups, like I seen the cups, and then I seen the cups shrouded in wardrobes, closets full of clothing, Versace's, Gucci's, Michael Kors, Coach, right? And the more wardrobe that the cups had, the better the cups felt about themselves. But when you looked at the big cup representing the intelligent design or God or whatever you want to call it, whatever name you have for it, source, it didn't have nothing on. It didn't have anything on. It was just a cup, a massive cup. And we all represented that same massiveness within ourselves if only we were to truly recognize it. I really wanted to share that today. You know, I really wanted to share that today. I hope this helps. Peace.